Hello everybody, welcome to part 4 of Captain Underpants and the Attack of the Talking Toilets. Chapter 9, Captain Underpants and the Attack of the Talking Toilets by George Beard and Harold Hutchins. Captain Underpants and the Attack of the Talking Toilets. Story by George Beard, pictures by Harold Hutchins. One day at school, everything was pretty normal. The lunch ladies were serving toasted rat sandwiches. The principal was yelling, blah, 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 and the gym teacher was being mean to everybody. My grandma can run faster than you guys. Then a UFO appeared. It zapped the school with an evil ray. The ray made all the toilets come to life. It made them evil as well. The toilets were hungry. Yum, yum, eat them up. So they ate the gym teacher. Help! The toilets just snatched somebody's car and ate up the gym teachers. Lord mercy! Was it my car? This looks like a job for Captain Underpants. Captain Underpants ran to the storage room. Yum, yum, eat them up. He found a bunch of plungers. He put them in the toilets. Their mouths got stuck. Tra-la-la. Hooray for Captain Underpants. Now, to stop that evil UFO. Captain Underpants went outside and saw the UFO. It opened up. Click. And out jumped out jumped the terrible Turbo Toilet 2000. I'll flush you. They had a big fight. Captain Underpants was faster than a speeding waistband, more powerful than a boxer short. Tra-la-la, kick, and able to leave tall buildings without getting weggy. Captain Underpants snuck up behind the Turbo Toilet 2000 and gave him a weggy. Weggy power! Ouchie! Then he hung the Turbo Toilet 2000 on a stop sign and pulled back hard. Stretch! Then he let go. Kaboom! The spaceship blew up and the toilets returned back to normal. Hooray! Even the gym teachers escaped. Oh man. The end. The Treehouse Comic Inc. Chapter 10. Big Mistake. George and Harold sat together there in the detention room, reading through the newest comic book and beaming proudly. We got to go to the office and make copies of this, said George, so we can sell them on the playground tomorrow. We can't, said Harold. Don't you remember? Mr. Crop said he'd suspend us if he caught us leaving the room. Then we won't let him catch us, said George. George and Harold sneaked out of the room quietly and crawled down the hall to the office. Uh-oh, said Harold. There's a bunch of teachers in there. We'll never get to use the copy machine. Said George. Are there any other copy machines in the school? How about the one that Melvin had in the gym? Asked Harold. Oh yeah, said George. George and Harold creeped over to the gym and found Pasty 2000. I wonder if this machine still makes copies, said Harold. Melvin did say that he had made some adjustments to it. Oh, he probably just crammed a mouse in there to fool us, said George. It's the oldest trick in the book. I'm sure the machine still makes normal copies. George placed the cover of their new comic book face down on the glass screen and pressed start. All at once, the lights in the whole school dimmed and the pasty 2000 began to shake and clunk around wildly. Giant bolts from static electricity zapped out of the bottom of the machine. Then, as a great whirlwind rose round the top, loose papers and other small objects in the room were sucked into the wind, and they spun above the machine like a running cyclone. I don't think it's supposed to do this, shouted George over the horrible noises. Finally, after a series of flashes and loud zaps, the noise, wind and sparks stopped altogether. The only sound that could be heard was something groaning and clawing inside the blotted, battered flame of pasty 2000. It sounds like something alive inside there, said Harold. George snatched the comic book from top of the machine. Let's get out of here, he cried. Just then, a small thing was heard. Full-sized, shiny white toilets emerged from the side of pasty 2000. Its teeth were sharp and jagged, and its angry eyeballs glowed with red, swirling rims. Yum, yum, eat them up, cried the evil toilet. Almost immediately, other talking toilets emerged, followed by other and other. Yum, yum, eat them up, they cried. Oh no, Melvin was right. The photoamatic trans some golbeting yecto fan triple tonic kazazipu timisa really does create living, breathing, three-dimensional copies and one-dimensional images. Harold cried convertedly. I got an idea, said George. What? Asked Harold. Run! Chapter 11. The invention, convention, detention, suspension. George and Harold screamed and ran through the gym door, closing it tightly behind them. Aha! Yelled Mr. Crop, who was just coming down the hall. You boys left the detention room. You know what that means, don't you? It wasn't our fault, cried Harold. Too bad, Mr. Crop shouted with delight. You boys are officially suspended. Wait, cried George. You've got to listen. Behind this door, there is an army of evil, vicious talk. I don't have to listen to you boys ever again, laughed Mr. Crop. Now get your stuff and get out of this school. But, Harold stammered, you don't understand. Get out, Mr. Crop screamed. George and Harold groaned and walked to their lockers and collected their stuff. Gosh, said Harold. And one day we've had detention, suspension, and we created an army of evil talking toilets who want to take over the world. That's a pretty bad day, even by our standards. Oh well, said Harold. I just hope things don't get any worse. Chapter 12. Things get worse. Words spread quickly through the office so that George and Harold had been suspended. The teachers rushed out to cheer and laughed at the two boys. You are in big trouble now, chuckled Miss Anthrope. I can't wait to call your parents and tell them the news. Let's take their desk outside and chop them up, cried Miss Rebel. Let's throw a party in the gym, shouted Mr. Mina. No, cried George. Whatever you do, don't open the door of the gym. We can do whatever we like, snarled Mr. Mina as he dashed over the gymnasium door. Look, I'm opening the door. He quickly opened the gym door. Now I'm closing the door, he said. Now I'm opening the door again, and now I am... An evil toilet had stuck its mouth through the door, snapped Mr. Mina up, and swallowed him whole. Flush! The talking toilets then pushed their way through the gymnasium doors and spilled out into the hallway. Yum, yum, eat them up. Yum, yum, eat. The toilets belled. Yum, yum, eat them up. The teachers couldn't believe their eyes. They screamed and ran for their lives. Only Mr. Crop, Miss Ribble, George and Harold remained frozen in fear. They watched paralyzed as the talking toilets came nearer and nearer. Finally, Miss Ribble pointed the toilet and snapped her finger. Snap! Go away, she cried. Go away this minute. But the toilets didn't listen. They moved closer and closer. Finally, Miss Ribble turned and ran. Mr. Crop, however, just stood there in a daze. George and Harold looked up at him. Uh-oh, said Harold. Did she just snap her fingers? Yup, said George. Now we're really in trouble. And George was right. For at that moment, Mr. Crop had begun to change. A silly, heroic smile came over his face, and he stood definitely before his foes. I'll put a stop, you vile villains, he said fearlessly. First, I need some supplies. Mr. Crop turned and dashed to his office. George and Harold ran after him. Why did Miss Ribble have to snap her fingers? Cried George. Why? Never mind that, cried George. Mr. Crop is turning into Captain Underpants. We got to pour water over his head before it's too late. Chapter 13. It's too late. When George and Harold reached Mr. Crop's office, they found only his clothes, shoes, and toupee on the floor. Look, said Harold, the window is open and one of the red curtains is missing. What do we do now? Asked George. Do we have to save Captain Underpants? Or do we have to stay here and got eaten by a bunch of toilets? Let me think about that one. As he climbed out of the window. George quickly collected Mr. Crop's things and shoved into his backpack. Then he jumped out the window after Harold. The two boys slid down the flagpole and ran off after Captain Underpants. "Where does he think he's going?" asked George. "I have no idea," said Harold, "but we better run fast because I think we're being followed." Captain Underpants dashed through the backyard of some nearby houses and collected pairs of underwears from the clothesline. "Mommy," said a little boy looking out his window, "a man in a red cape just stole our underwear." And now, two boys are being chased by a furious-looking tortoise with sharp, pointy teeth, screaming, "Yum, yum, eat them up!" "Yeah, right," laughed his mother. "Just how gullible do you think I am?" Chapter 14, The Talking Toilet Takeover. And this will be the end of part 4. And I will see you at part 5. Bye!